We're at Xtreme Couture, Las Vegas, and we're lucky enough to have my good friend and head coach, Eric Nixick, with us, who's going to give us a tour of the facility. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, it's always good to have you guys in town.
So, I'll hand it over to you. Could you just walk us around the facility?
For sure. So we're actually starting here. So this was our very first building when we opened up Xtreme Couture. We had one side, very small. So for me in 2007, I came walking into this gym, and when you open the doors, there was one cage, and that was about it, and concrete floors. And at the time, Randy was training to get ready for Tim Sylvia. It was pretty cold out, and they had a big, almost kind of a jet engine looking heater apparatus, if you will, and
to keep everybody warm.
Yeah, and just pumping as much heat as they could in the place. And you know, it was about as old school as you can get. So
what was it? Was it originally just this side?
Just this one side that you see here. So there wasn't much on the floors at all. And you know, Jay Heron still kind of jokes about this day that he laid tile in this bitch.
Yeah.
You know? So that was the culture when we started. And we had this one side of the building, and then as we grew, we had an octagon and we had a boxing ring. There was actually no weight room area. There was nothing of the sort. So
just the basics that you needed to train
just the
MMA.
basics as you need, and,
Yeah.
and that was kind of Randy's whole point. Was at the time people were traveling and going around
Yeah.
and get all their work in, and he wanted to have a one-stop shop. So sooner or later, when this building on the other side ended up opening up, Randy decided to knock the wall down and expand over. So when I took over the gym, we had this side and this side, but we had two boxing rings that were side by side at the time. I cleared out enough space to get a little bit of a workout area in, but what we found was the boxing rings just didn't have a purpose like they once did, right?
Yeah.
We weren't fighting in boxing rings anymore. Most promotions had cages, and what it turned out to be was almost kind of like a glorified locker.
Yeah.
People were just
the
throwing
stuff
stuff in there and sitting around. So with that being said, I found kind of an area to capitalize on a different demographic. We were able to sell the cages, make a little bit more space, and then now you guys can see the gym area that we were able to build just by alone. Just having two boxing rings side by side was just a complete waste of space for us.
It's funny how you mentioned that, because when I opened my first gym in the UK, I had a boxing ring, MMA cage, matted area and bags, and we spent a lot of money on the boxing ring,
Right.
but we're doing MMA.
Right.
But the transition from striking into MMA, we all thought we needed a boxing ring to learn, and
Absolutely.
obviously now you were probably the pioneers really of setting up what was an MMA facility.
Right, I mean, I would think so, and for me, I actually got rid of one boxing ring first. And there was enough fights back then to where, okay, maybe we keep one boxing ring just so guys understand the angles and how to cut off a boxing ring, and then have the cages as well. But once we felt that really now, I mean, in a year, maybe one promotion will have a fighter.
Of course,
in
one
a
championship
boxing ring.
occasionally.
Exactly. So for us, we just didn't see a purpose for it, and that's why we wanted
Maximize the space.
Maximize the space, open up the demographic setup more. Now I can really keep it one-stop shop, right? If you're not in the UFC and you don't have a gym, now you have your gym and your strength and conditioning built in right into Xtreme Couture.
And before we move on, which fight was this?
This is Jay Heron versus Jonathan Goulet. And this is kind of like, in a weird way, like it's when you see Notre Dame and they go out to their game and that, you know, they hit that, play like a champion. You know, this has a different kind of connotation, I think, for all of us, because that is Jay Heron's blood that you see spilled all over that canvas.
It's history.
It's history. And Jay, for me especially, is kind of one of those hierarchy guys in this gym that has been the big brother, that still frequents this gym to this day. And it has a lot of sentimental value, I think, to a lot of the guys that have been here since day one. Most people walk by it and they see it, yeah, it's kind of cool. But
no,
you know,
it means something.
It has a different meaning. You know, some people at times are like, "Oh, when are you gonna take that thing down? It's ugly." I'm like, "Bro, we'll never take that thing down. You have to burn that thing. You have to burn this whole place down before you take that down." So, yeah, Jay Heron. So mat 1, we predominantly do most of our striking classes on this side, obviously due to the punching bags. And then when you cruise over to mat 2, the big difference that you see is we used to have bags up on this side. And Coach Follis wanted us to take the bags down so we had more floor space and we were able to work more on the walls, right? So that was a big process for us in the pro practice, that we wanted more wall work, we wanted more cage things, and that's why we took the bags on this side, and now you have a big floor space. So pro practice, most of the grappling stuff we do over here.
And we can see you've got a busy board.
Yeah, busy board. So this is something I started when I took over. You know, we had so many guys and so many fighters in the gym. The thing that I used to see was a lot of the members didn't know who was fighting and where. And I think it's very important that the gym rallies behind these fighters.
This is the pinnacle of the gym, isn't it?
This is it. When I started training here, I started training because I knew Randy Couture was here. I didn't really understand the gravity and the level of the relationships that I was going to build. The Mike Piles, the Jay Herons, the Martin Campmans, you know, those guys, MMA guys, and these guys became part of my family. You know, so I think it's very important that not only our team, but our members also understand that these guys are going to battle and where are they going to go to battle and what the dates are. And I try to put something up there, some sort of quote. You know, we lost a fight. I can't remember the fight that we lost, but a good friend of mine, Laura Senko, she sent me this quote here. And it just, at the time, I needed to hear something like that. It resonated, so I made it a canvas and I hung it over our schedule, and it's a great quote by Theodore Roosevelt, and if you guys don't know it, it's the man in the arena, and it means a lot, you know, so it's kind of one of those things when you come into practice and you come in to spar and you come in to train, that's something as a small reminder that, hey man, you might get beat one time, but we always got to get ourselves back up and get to work. 2 cages, smaller cage right here. Again, like you and I were talking earlier today, the luxury of an MMA gym to have at least 1 cage is very rare, but to have two with different sizes as well, so you get smaller promotions and
the amateur game, the amateur game and the pro game, really, isn't it?
Amateur and pro, and there is a big difference here. You know, you fight a big tall guy like, you know, Danny Davis, for example. He's right in your face in a step or two, right? Where this is, you're gonna have a little bit more luxury of movement.
You favor the striker, you favor the grappler, don't you?
Absolutely, and that's sometimes too where I like to put the strikers in the small cage, you know, and it gives them a little bit more urgency. This canvas, I believe, was from Tito. None of our guys fought on it. I think it was just actually a gift from the UFC, just for decor. I can't remember the exact one.
But it's real MMA history, isn't it?
Yep, for sure.
You don't see many of them about, and I've traveled most gyms, most of the leading gyms in the world, and you don't have this history. It's like when we walk around upstairs later and you see some of the old fight posters on the wall.
Exactly.
Again, if you're a real MMA fan, those things really touch an emotional trigger in the brain, don't they?
So big cage, that's my favorite sign in the gym, human resources, right? And that's the luxury of what we get to do here. And a lot of people don't understand that we're not 9-to-5ers. You know, we're alphas, and you have a problem and you want to figure some shit out, you're more than welcome to hop into human resources.
This is seven days a week, 24 hours a day.
Shit out, man.
I like it.
This one kind of gets overlooked a lot, and a lot of people don't see it, but this was on our boxing ring. This is the canvas that we have around the boxing ring, or an apron. And what we did was, anybody that was their first time here, they signed the canvas. So you go through here and see some of these big names. You know, here's Martin Campman. You know, some of the big names that were coming through. Here's Mike Bisbing, Rob Kimmons. You know, just absolute studs that came through here, and we always had them sign the canvas. So this was kind of cool, you know, that we did for a long time, and we kept it. So something I think that always gets overlooked, and a lot of people don't really see. There's Gina Carano.
Again, it's what makes the gym, isn't it? It's the history behind the gym.
History behind the gym. You know, and there's a lot of things that have taken place, and they're always kind of be sacred in these walls that we got to see. But moreover, it's those experiences that, for me, I have things I can tell my kids about through this building, you know, and that means more to me than anything.
No, look, I've been coming here for many years now, and I can see that in you. I can see that in everybody that works here.
Yeah.
There's a real bond to what you guys are doing, isn't there?
And that's kind of what I hoped. Well, I feel like we have, and I hope to kind of carry on that tradition. Is, you know, a lot of us came here to seek individual goals and everything else, but what we gained was a camaraderie, a family, a team. And, you know, you and I were talking earlier, you know, it's an individual sport once the cage door closes, but you're only as good as your team that you surround yourself with. So that's very important to me, and that comes from my football background and where I come from, a team.
Your ethos as one of the leaders of the gyms that transgresses through the fighters, doesn't it?
Exactly. We have a little therapy area over here. That's Michelle's table. She likes to work on her clients. And then I have a Fit Balm sauna, some other knickknacks, things of that sort that most people just give us, so we always use and work. And then in the back over here, we have Dr. Carlos does a lot of our chiropractic work. So then that's really it, man. This is it. It's not pretty. It's, you know, it's ours, but we call it home, you know.
You can say it's not pretty, but it's what it is a traditional MMA gym.
For sure.
One of the true pioneer teams of MMA. The owner is one of the godfathers and legends of MMA.
The whole premises of what this gym was built on was we wanted regular members, regular people that maybe weren't trying to be fighters, but to be able to train with, and come and train with like-minded individuals, you know. And really what it has grown into is just this big family, you know. No one is just a member number. We know each other by name. We do a lot of things together. And once you're kind of in with that tribe, if that crew, if you will, then you're family for life.
Listen, I appreciate you taking the time, and you know I appreciate the friendship and the
always,
relationship, brother.
Family, man.
Thank you, mate.
Always.
Thank you.
My pleasure.